Good morning, everyone. It's a lovely morning here in Philadelphia. It's 10:05, 10:06, possibly 10:07 by the time you're watching this. And we've got lots to cover today. There's tons of news on a lot of fronts. And so I'm going to bring you some information and news about mortgages, pandemic assistance, Clark Park, Wells Fargo voting. And so thank you for joining us. Let's get into it. Clark Park. Clark Park is a beautiful park here in Philadelphia, West Philadelphia. A park enjoyed by and used by a very diverse community. And I like it. I used to live right by it and use it pretty frequently. There's lots of other folks that live near it, and the Philadelphia Proud Boys said that they were going to join us there last Saturday, but they were too chicken shit to show up. So we had a little gathering, demanding that the Proud Boys get out of Philadelphia and explaining that they're not welcome here. And so, much like that trash sound, we threw him out. I'm very grateful to organizer and activist Gwen Snyder, who first brought this to my attention and to the attention of activist and organizer Daryl Lamont Jenkins. Without her activism and advocacy, we wouldn't have realized that this was going on. And the Proud Boys even went so far as to say publicly that that was the primary reason behind their choice of venue. Dumb idea, guys, but whatever. You guys seem to consistently not know what you're doing, so that's fine. And on that point, I'd just like to say that without misogyny, there probably wouldn't be racism. The racism that we've been encountering is the racism that has always existed, has always been deeply linked to misogyny and to the toxic masculinity of otherism, of tribalism. It's all cool when you want to root for your team or say, rah rah, my group is the best. But what's not cool is in saying you're the best, then denying the qualities of other groups. So while your team might be the best, any other team, any given Sunday, can whoop your ass. As a progressive and a liberal, I know that. I know, and what I think befuddles your average middle ground person or your average conservative about the liberal position is that it's an examined position. Liberals and progressives tend to think about what it is that they're representing or presenting, and in the course of thinking about it, we'll often try to understand multiple viewpoints having to do with it. we love. We love unconditionally, and we try to understand what it is about another person's human condition that could lead them to their conclusions. So that's where we are with Clark Park. That's where we are with hate groups here in Philadelphia. Speaking of hate groups here in Philadelphia, oh my God. Philly Weekly, what are you doing? You nunces. Philly Weekly, in case you don't know, came about as literally alt news source with leftist, progressive editorial bent. Speaking up for those who have no voice, speaking up for people who don't normally get heard. And a lot of the writers and participants in Philly Weekly over the years have participated specifically because of that bent. And most of the readers have read specifically because of that bent. So when they announced yesterday afternoon that they were going to become an alt-right news source, it has been met online by literally the entirety of Philadelphia social media with derision and really just everyone, from tattooed moms to writer Conrad Benner to Councilmember Helen Gim, even basically telling them to fuck the fuck off. And the person who created this bad idea is a person who purchased the magazine about a year ago. And if you take a look at his Twitter feed, he shows exactly, that's Dan McDonough, by the way, Dan McDonough Jr., Dan McDonough on Twitter. Not that I want to give him clicks, but in the vein of informing yourself, please feel free to go look at his Twitter. So he has such wonderful hot takes on his Twitter as Black Lives Matter and the... Sorry, my camera quit there. My bad. Let me fix that. Didn't plug in my camera this morning because I needed to run down the battery. Well, I guess the battery ran down. So he has such hot takes as Black Lives Matter and the mechanics of conformity, basically, which is a piece he wrote for Quotelet that describes how Black Lives Matter is, in his opinion, not a real movement. It's a demand of leftists to conform to left opinion. And his hot take, the dishonest and misogynistic hate campaign against J.K. Rowling, another piece for Quotelet, where he tries to defend transphobic writer J.K. Rowling as a gender-critical feminist. But that doesn't mean we should cancel her, ladies and gentlemen, according to Dan McDonough Jr., the person who decided to make Philly Weekly an alt-right mouthpiece. And then if you go further down in his tweets, you'll come across all of his recent attempting to twist the Supreme Court nomination fight by quoting leftists from the last years of Barack Obama's, the last year of Barack Obama, last 2 years of Barack Obama's presidency. He's quoting people, saying that that the Senate should do its job and put a Supreme Court nominee up, but he's completely misquoting them and taking them out of context intentionally, in acting like that's what they're saying about now. No, Dan, you don't get to deny our first black president a Supreme Court nominee and then act like when we have the most toxic, childish, racist idiot in office ever to hold the office of president, that it's now time to nominate a Supreme Court justice in the last few minutes of a presidential term. So yeah, this is the kind of fake news, idiotic, alt-right positioning that Dan McDonough Jr. wants you to support for a Philadelphia news magazine. And I, for one, and backed by apparently a lot of people, refuse to accept that as an idea. I've created this broadcast system, this news media company, Light Thief Productions. It's a production company. We do theater, we do live events, we do broadcasts, we do news. And I've created it because there's a lack of independent journalism here in Philadelphia. Independent journalism is a tough gig. We don't get a lot of money. We don't get a lot of support. We don't get a lot of advertisers. You're often reporting things that folks who would normally spend money don't want to hear. So, I'm working with some people to actually create an independent news magazine and to retake up the mantle of progressive Philadelphia politics and news and information. So I have a Patreon, and if you would like to support independent media, I'm typing it in now, patreon.com/LightThiefProductions. As soon as we have $4,000 a month, we will create a news magazine, print and online news magazine that will take up that mantle again. I've been accused of trying to enrich myself with this request. No, $4,000 a month isn't enough to pay for a news magazine, and I fully suspect that I'm going to lose money for a while. $4,000 a month isn't even enough to pay an editor-in-chief, so I'm going to be coming out of my own pocket to pay an editor-in-chief should we meet that Patreon goal. But if we meet that Patreon goal, I fully intend to create a progressive news magazine and represent the true alt and progressive voices of Philadelphia. In that vein of independent media, I'm wearing my Walking Fish Theater t-shirt today. Walking Fish Theater is a company that I worked for many years. And sad news is that one of the co-founders of Walking Fish Theater, Stan Haliva, passed away last week in his home. And he was a mentor and a friend to me and to many other people in the Philadelphia area and in the Philadelphia arts. And I'd just like to honor him today by bringing up Walking Fish Theater once again into the modern media and talk about it a little bit. Walking Fish Theater was a theater space in Kensington / Fishtown before Kensington and Fishtown became the height of gentrification. Stan and Michelle Pauls took over a row home that was literally crumbling and turned it into a theater space and a home for theater and for live events in Philadelphia. Many of today's brightest stars in the Philadelphia live entertainment scene at one point had a show or acted in or worked with Stan and or Michelle. And it's the Walking Fish Theater, along with a lot of other small theaters in Philadelphia, acted as a creative source, a place where creatives who didn't have a lot of money but who knew that their mission in life was to gather people together and to entertain people could get together and create content in a live theater space. I will never forget working in a tiny little black box theater with 51 seats and making some of the most daring and trying art of my entire life. Stan will be missed, and hopefully we will bring back to Philadelphia independent theater projects like the Walking Fish Theater en masse as soon as there is a cure or vaccine for COVID-19 and we can gather people together again. In the meantime, there are a lot of digital projects, both here and all across the country, and those projects are all worth your support and your dollars, your interest, your viewership. I just finished one with the PDC, which was called Blender Full of Monkeys. It's available for rewatching on the PDC's website, and I highly encourage you to go ahead and watch the on PDC's Facebook. Excuse me. That's PDC Philadelphia Dramatist Center, and I highly encourage you to go over and watch that, as it was a group of 10-minute plays that we aired over the course of 24 hours as a marathon, basically watch and performance party, socially distanced over the internet. The internet gives us, the pandemic gives us the chance to experiment with things that we might not have been able to experiment or had the time to experiment with before. We had folks as far away as France participate in a live production in the city of Philadelphia by a small development production company, nonprofit that is homed in and lives in the city of Philadelphia. I think that's cool. I hope you think that's cool too. Please go watch. Please go donate to the artists who made that art. What else is going on? Let's see here. Next thing on the agenda is Wells Fargo. For those who haven't been watching regularly, or for those that are watching for the first time, I have a temporary day gig working for the Philadelphia Unemployment Project. Philadelphia Unemployment Project is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to helping people navigate government systems for aid, including unemployment and housing aid, such as the rental relief program and pandemic mortgage assistance program. Pandemic mortgage assistance program, in as few words as possible, is also called PMAP, and it provides up to $1,000 per month for up to 6 months of a person's mortgage between the months of March and December of this year. It's coming down to the wire for applications. While it covers March through December, the applications are due in by September 30th. So they're due in by next week. So if you want to apply for some money towards your mortgage, get your applications in this week. It's a valuable program if you live in Philadelphia or if you live in anywhere in Pennsylvania. Just apply. There's no reason not to apply. There's nothing legally tenuous about applying. It's a grant. It doesn't affect your credit. It doesn't affect your mortgage. All it does is if you are approved for the grant, gives you up to $1,000 towards your mortgage every month. So it's worth it. You know, if you're having any sort of problems with your mortgage, or if you're even if you're just losing money because you can't work right now, or it's costing more to live right now, go apply for pandemic mortgage assistance. At any rate, the pandemic mortgage assistance program has two parts, and those two parts are you apply as the homeowner, and then PHFA, which is the government agency that is administrating the program, either approves or denies you. Once they approve or deny you, they get in touch with your mortgage lender, and they say to the mortgage lender, hey, we've got money for you. How can we get it to you? And so what we're hearing now, right now, is that Wells Fargo has made an executive decision not to participate in the pandemic mortgage assistance program. And we're also hearing that they have the legal right to refuse these funds. I gotta say that while they may have the legal right to refuse these funds, that's pretty shitty of them, because they're causing people who, through no fault of their own, may have fallen behind in their mortgage or are facing monetary problems, to miss out on thousands of dollars that could help them in this pandemic. What the heck? Why would you why would you as a mortgage company turn down money? It's free effing money. And you know, the program it doesn't cover everyone. It's not like they'd have to set up a special system to accept this money. There's no cost to Wells Fargo for accepting this money. So what the heck are they doing? And you know, I've spoken with Wells Fargo. I've spoken with PHFA, and they both confirmed that that is Wells Fargo's decision, and confirm that there's nothing that PHFA can do to compel Wells Fargo to participate. But they have no reasoning behind why Wells Fargo would refuse this money. So, I don't know. Contact your representatives. I know folks are asking you to contact your representatives every day, but this is a participatory democracy. So, well, when it acts as a democracy, it's a participatory democracy. So if you don't contact your representatives, they don't know that they need to do something, and they need to do something right now, which is pressure Wells Fargo to accept these funds from folks who should qualify for getting them. One story that we've been given permission to tell is that a homeowner in Philadelphia has a mortgage of $750 a month, and they've been approved by PHFA for up to $1,000 a month in assistance. So if Wells Fargo, and they're Wells Fargo customers, so if Wells Fargo was willing to accept this money, Wells Fargo would get $6,000 that they could apply to mortgage payments, and they would not miss out on anything. So why the heck won't Wells Fargo accept the money? There's no reasoning. There's literally no reasoning. So the city of Philadelphia uses Wells Fargo as a depository institution. It's the bank that Philadelphia uses for all of its money. So the city of Philadelphia has a little bit of sway with Wells Fargo. So contact your city council reps, ask them what they're doing about this. Contact your state representatives, ask them what they're doing about this. The state could put pressure on Wells Fargo by asking them not to, by telling them that they're going to make regulatory decisions that Wells Fargo doesn't like. They could threaten to revoke certain licenses and stuff that Wells Fargo has. Lots of other ways in which the state and the city could affect Wells Fargo's decision on this matter. And it's a stupid decision, so it should be affected. I don't know. There's all this craziness going on in life right now, and I don't understand. I don't understand the backlash. I've spoken to lots of people who think that they have a grasp of the backlash, that there's always these waves in politics. Well, there shouldn't be waves in politics. We should always move forward. We should always progress. We should always be seeking what's best for society, and not trying to hold on to some memory of what society was, or trying to glorify what society could be. And that's all we're doing right now. Hey, Jay.
Hey, what's up, man?
Nothing, I'm just ranting.
Rant on, my brother.
Yeah, ranting about, what the heck is up with people? What the heck is up with politics? Why are people supporting the ideas like regressive politics. What are people doing? Like, I will say that though you nicely faced that box, we are not sponsored by Cheerios.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should have went to Save a Lot. It would say,
Yeah. Yeah, what are you doing, man? You didn't get the off-brand?
I work hard, man. I want real Cheerios, bro. You don't sponsor this either, but I'm using it.
Almond milk? Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Khalifa coconut almond milk. I'm fancy. I don't know, for a trucker, I guess. I don't know.
I don't like the coconut one so much.
If I can't get the hemp, I'll settle for that.
Yeah, I like the unsweetened regular, but Khalifa makes a good almond milk. Anyway, so yeah, I was just ranting, like, about like people thinking that there's waves in politics. Why shouldn't we just always be progressing? Why should we? I don't think there should be any time in politics when we try to glorify and hang on to some past imagined picture of what our society is.
I think there's a mass majority of people who, as long as things are going okay for them and them alone, and whatever is bad happening in the world doesn't affect them, they don't see a need for change. If I'm getting tax breaks, if I live in a low crime area, if my police response time is like 2.3 seconds, and I'm never affected by all the stuff I see on Facebook and CNN, I'm fine. I don't get racially profiled. I have a great job, great career. I'm fine. Forget everybody else. I'm fine, which is wrong. I don't want to be great, and then people like 700 miles away are going through hell. Then there's a problem. We need to fix it. But everyone doesn't feel like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. Maybe I'm crazy.
No. You're not crazy. You care. That's it.
Yeah.
If you don't care, then you shrug your shoulders, and whatever happens in November happens, and you don't care.
What? One thing that I've run across a lot lately is people that don't care in the black community, and the DNC is doing all it can to make the black community not care. I gotta give them that. They're massive protests about cops and law and order, and the DNC puts up the two most law and order candidates that they could put up. I mean, Are you trying to not win the election? Is there like some cabal that's trying to put Trump back into the White House in November?
I have to agree. I know a lot of people that don't care in the black community. They don't care.
But we should. We should care.
Yes, we should. We should definitely care. I agree with that.
I don't know what's going on. Interestingly, with the black community, I've recently run into a fellow black community member who I have to say, I don't think he's watching this broadcast, but if he does watch this broadcast, please stop having everyone call me at the Philadelphia Unemployment Project. I know I am the black guy at the Philadelphia Unemployment Project. And I know I'm easy to speak to, but I have had to put my phone on D&D for the last 4 days because I have been getting nonstop calls about unemployment. And I don't even primarily deal with unemployment. I just take everything you tell me and send it on to Ted. So,
well, how many people there can someone call and talk to? Is it just you and Ted, or
there's
like
a staff of about 8, and
okay.
you can get anyone really, and we'll forward it to Ted. But Ted's the one that handles all the unemployment stuff. He's the lead of the unemployment portion of Philadelphia Unemployment Project's stuff. So, you know, well, I'm happy to help people. This is just crazy making. I can't even help people at this point. I gotta put my phone on D&D.
Right. If you're overwhelmed, you can't do anything.
Yeah. Emails work good. Emails work good. If anybody wants to email me, jjackson@philaup.org. I will literally type it in the broadcast chat.
Keep our non-sponsored cereal box off the camera the best I can.
Hey, if General Mills wants to reach out and give us some money, we'll face that box real nice for you again. But as of now, no, we are not sponsored by
definitely
General
not
Mills.
dancing like MC Hammer has done in a recent commercial again. Like, dude, you lost so many fans when you danced for popcorn chicken on the KFC ad, and now you're doing it again. Stop it, Hammer. Jeez, you're like the WB Frog, man. Stop it.
You're like the WB Frog.
I hate that frog, man. It was racist.
It was. Why did? Who even
Like,
thought that was a
so
good
racist.
idea?
I'm telling you, man, you just have some regular black people on the board of directors for some of these companies. Like, listen, don't do that.
Listen, this is a bad idea. Okay.
That should be the final vote. Pass it to the regular black guy or black girl that you have on your staff that just they're consulting to make sure you don't do anything stupid. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, this is a bad idea. Oh, okay. But why?
Because it's offensive on so many levels. And then we'll show them film as to why it's offensive, and then they'll get it. Instead of just pushing out an ad that's like incredibly offensive and wondering, well, what's the problem? Dude, really?
No, I don't understand. Why would this be offensive?
I don't know.
I'm gonna mess with my video here because this is not so. They updated Zoom. Well, I updated Zoom. I shouldn't have. I should always not update things. That's what I should do. Anyway, they updated Zoom with a few little changes, but some of the changes make trying to do a broadcast like this a little bit aggravating. So now I can no longer pin. I have to have 3 actual video participants to pin videos. I used to be able to, if there was 3 participants but one of them had their camera off, I used to be able to pin the video anyway. So now I can't do that. Now when you go to pin videos on the first screen, if you're using multi-screen setup, if you go to pin videos on the first screen, it won't let you replace a pin like it used to. You just be able to pin video on first screen and then go to another video and pin video on first screen and it would just replace. Now it doesn't do that. It basically you can create who's on the first screen by pinning multiple people, but you have to access the first screen, and what I normally do is put the first screen full screen and then use multiple desktops to swipe it away, so because I don't need to look at it, I can see it in my broadcast software. But yeah, so now I can't do that anymore. I have to have the first screen visible at all times. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm complaining, but
I always wonder why they don't test these updates out and see if people will actually like it before they just release it.
Because companies think they know better now. Like they think that they know what people need, and developers for those companies think that they know what people need, and they don't. but they think they do.
But the wrong update could like tank your sales and have people actually hate your app, and then you're like, you're done. That's it.
Yeah, they don't care. I mean, Zoom's getting enough money right now that they really actually don't care.
I guess.
It's like Adobe. When Adobe makes changes...
Yes. Oh my God.
Why did you switch what the shift key does?
Yes. Listen.
Why did you switch the shift key to do exactly the opposite of all what it's always done? They
changed the free transform tool, and I went on their page on Twitter, and I went on a rant, and they actually answered me back. Like, we're so sorry. If you go to these options right here, you can put it back. I was like, stop. You have a great product. Stop changing stuff that we need to do stuff. Like, stop it.
Seriously.
Stop.
Like,
it's not improving anything. No.
And if I have to relearn an app every 5 months, like, no, just stop it.
Right.
Anyway.
Putting the gas pedal in the front of the car and then the brake pedal in the back seat. Like, this is going to end in disaster. I promise you. The first time I accelerate and try to brake, it's going to go bad. No, I think it'll work. I think you're wrong.
No, it'll be great. It'll be great. We promise.
No, it won't. First hill, everybody's going to die. First hill.
First hill. I'm trying to find something right now, which is a graphic designer made a background for me, so I'm gonna try and do some fancy backgrounds in a bit. Last topic on the Coffee Talk card is voting. Speaking of people who don't care, lots of people are refusing to vote.
If the polls are going to be open, why are they pushing for mail so hard? That's what making a lot of people skeptical whether or not their vote's going to count this year. They're pushing really, really hard for mail-in votes, even though I've heard most of the poll places are going to be open. So,
because when in districts that have mail-in voting or primary mail-in voting, participation is 20 to 30% higher than when you have a polling location you have to go to.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, mail-in voting is awesome. And like in states like Washington, if you get a driver's license, they just automatically register you to vote.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think if you get a birth certificate, you should just be automatically registered to vote. But whatever.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So in Washington, they literally just mail people their ballots as soon as they're finalized, and you vote by mail. That's the primary vote method. Washington, Utah, Hawaii, and I forget. There's 2 more. There's 5 of them that their primary voting method is mail-in, and the studies from all of them have shown that it's secure, and that participation is higher, and that people are more likely to actually vote.
You sure it's secure? Sometimes I send a package through the mail and nothing comes through, man.
Yeah,
so to get a letter from here to New Jersey, like, it's over the bridge. What is the problem? It's a letter.
My wife and I voted by mail in the primary. And yeah, it's pretty darn secure, at least here in PA. So in PA, if you vote by mail, you get when you apply, you get an email notification that your application has been submitted, and then they email you when they ship when they send the ballot. And then they email you when they get tracking that the ballot has been put in the mail. And then they email you when they...
Like Amazon.
Yeah, and then they email you when they receive it, and then they email you when they process it. So you get like 15 emails. Not really.
Then they email you to change your vote so Trump will win.
No.
Wait, what?
So yeah, so they email you a bunch of times and like let you know where it is, and you can literally call the county election commission office, and they're not super busy, so they answer the phone right away, and you can check on all of that. Like, hey, I haven't I called because we hadn't received our mail-in ballot notification, and we hadn't received a notification that our application was in. And I literally called AG Shapiro's office because he was the one talking about it on Twitter, and he told me to call his office. And I called, and he like was typing, like he was the one answered the phone, and he's like typing on his computer, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I see your applications, James Jackson. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it hasn't just hasn't been processed yet. We'll get to it in the next 24, 48 hours." I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, you should get your ballot in a couple of weeks. We haven't mailed them out yet. Give me a call back if you don't get it or if you don't get a notification. But yeah, so that's why they're pushing mail-in ballot. An important thing with PA mail-in balloting, and this is going to be a PS. I'm trying to get a hold of the AG's office to do an actual PSA. I want to do an actual PSA with actual. I want to go to the facility where they process these things and show people how they get processed before the election. Like, I want to do a PSA. But the state Supreme Court just ruled on naked ballots. This isn't where you get naked before you fill out the ballot. This is when.
Oh man!
Oh man! I saw that thought going across your head.
Shade for nothing down there.
So this is when you fill out a ballot, right? PA ballots come with two envelopes. One is an envelope that just says official ballot on the front, and it has literally no markings on the outside. And you fold up your completed ballot and you put it in that envelope. And then there's another envelope, which is the mailing envelope, which has tracking information on the outside. It has your name on the outside. It has your signature on the outside. So you take that plain envelope with your ballot inside, and then you put it in the mailing envelope, and then you mail it in. So naked ballots is when somebody forgets the plain envelope, the secrecy envelope. So they just take their ballot and stick it in the mailing envelope. PA's Supreme Court, in one of the stupidest decisions I've ever heard, decided that means, according to the PA Constitution, that the vote is invalid.
Wow. That's almost as dumb as the banning of TikTok.
Yes. So...
the news story on CNN, like, this is really what's going on in the world right now? TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, right. TikTok is important, man.
This is why the aliens don't come anymore. It's like, you know what? Forget Earth, man. I'm over that place.
TikTok is important. How are we going to see people? How are you going to see cops dancing with regular people if you don't have TikTok?
I mean, I don't have a problem with the app. I think the app is cool. I know a lot of kids that use it, but the banning of it, like, why? Because it's another platform to make fun of you? Because you keep giving us so much ammunition to make fun of you? Is that why you want to ban it?
It's because Trump is a media whore and he doesn't understand new media, so he doesn't. I guarantee you, if he had a TikTok account and it was popular, he would be fine with TikTok. He'd be like, no, TikTok's great. We love TikTok. It's the greatest thing ever.
Really great, greatest in the world.
It's amazing. You should all have TikTok. I'm gonna create an executive order that all Americans have to have TikTok. It's gonna be included in every build of iPhone OS and Android OS.
Like that U2 album that nobody wanted. Like, what the hell is this doing on my phone?
All right, this is all right. No, I'm tired of listening to it. Nope, you can't delete it. Yeah, so I think that's really the solution. I think TikTok missed out on an opportunity here. They sold off part of their business to Oracle, and Oracle's going to be hosting the US-based customers' data so that China doesn't have access to it, and they're creating a business entity in the U.S. that isn't subject to Chinese law, so that's how they're getting around this. But what they really should have done, instead of doing all this business stuff, is they should have invited Trump to have a specially promoted Trump-only TikTok channel.
Okay.
That's what they should have done.
I'm out, James.
All right. Talk to you later. That's what they should have done. They should have just had, TikTok only Trump channel. Why they didn't do that, I have no idea.
Have a good one. All
right. But with TikTok only, they could have had, all the Trump all the time. Trump would have declared it the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know. Why do people make bad decisions? Whatever. I got nothing. I got nothing for you. But make good decisions, folks. Make good decisions. Got lots of things I'm being asked to promote. What You Doing by Devon Clark. Parallel 45 Theater. They're a theater group in Michigan. Great theater group. I've worked with them. Great people. And they have the Alphabet Experience coming up tonight, I believe. Sometime this week. Parallel 45 Theater. You can just Google them. They'll come up. You can search for them on Facebook. They'll come up there as well. Go watch. Even if you're not from Michigan, go watch. They're a good group. Very funny folks. Yeah. So it's been a week. It's been an interesting week. We've had lots of changes, lots of things going on. I think we can make the world a better place. I think we can make the world a better place with independent media, bringing attention to things that you normally wouldn't hear about, bringing perspectives that you wouldn't normally hear. The folks who need representation are people like the folks in the homeless encampments on the Parkway and in front of the PHFA building. They're not capitalist douche bros who spent daddy's money to buy a magazine, an alt magazine in Philadelphia, and now want to destroy it by making it an alt-right mouthpiece. We don't need any more of those. So invest in independent media, invest in enjoying independent artists and independent productions, because we can say things that other folks can't necessarily say, and we're not beholden to we're not beholden to advertisers. We're not beholden to making sure that everybody likes us. We're only beholden to you, the viewers, and making sure that the viewership is entertained and informed. Light Thief Productions on Patreon, Light Thief Productions on YouTube and Facebook, Raven Eyes 77 on Twitter. Like, share, subscribe. If you like what you see, become a patron on Patreon. We have as little as $1 per month, So as a pledge gift, $1, give me $1 per month, and it helps me get pay folks to work on this independent media project. if you want to see independent media in Philadelphia and see the voice of the voiceless truly represented, join our Patreon. And we'll see you again next week on Wednesday, 10 a.m. for a coffee break chat. In the meantime, if there's any breaking news or events that need coverage in the city of Philadelphia, feel free to tweet or DM me on Twitter or YouTube or Patreon or even Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find. Pretty easy to find. And we'll cover things that need to be covered. So until next week, thanks for joining us, and hope you have a good week.